Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting. We'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
Welcome to the RockShop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at the RockShop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. The RockShop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
A very pleasant welcome, curling fans, to the Martensville Curling Club. It's the Aly Jenkins Mixed Doubles Memorial here on Curling Stadium. We have this matchup between Koana and Go Aoki versus Sherry Just and Kyle Cherpin. Both these teams come in at 1-1. Thank you so much for joining us. And for those who are joining us from afar, konnichiwa and arigatou gozaimasu for watching us. I do want to let our friends in Japan know that we do have a Japanese language stream available for this. Ono-san has the call. The link is on our YouTube page. So that's some exciting news for you folks. But you can stay here with us too. We like you. We love you. And speaking of guys I love, here's Marty Thompson with me. How you doing, Marty?
Pretty good, Dave. How are you doing?
I am super fantastic.
How many games is this so far for you, this event?
This is game number 7.
Oh, amazing. Very good.
And this is draw number 7, just so we're perfectly clear.
It's perfect. Well, this is my first game, but this is obviously not my first time seeing this Japanese team. They're running in here to this last chance Olympic qualifier to try to get to the Olympics here just in a few weeks. So I'm really excited to watch them play. They won this tournament last year too. So again, a really exciting team against a bit of more of a local side here in the Saskatchewan unit with Justin Cherpin. So yeah, really excited to see this game unfold as we see Yellowstones here with the hammer to start, and some decent drawway too. We're seeing a pretty loaded forefoot to begin here with this Saskatchewan team looking to convert.
Yeah, Koana and Aoki lost their opening game in a thriller to Pere and Rios. And then they won against Simpson and Dirksen. Both these teams share a victory over them. No, actually, no, I misspoke. But they won over Simpson and Dirksen to come back.
Yeah, that was a 7-6 loss against that Swiss team in Pere and Rios, Olympic silver medalist. That was, you mentioned it was a thriller.
Last shot.
Well, that came wide. It's not the right tolerance, just to be a little bit wide and a little bit outside, right? If you're doubles, if you're throwing doubles, sometimes it's just key to make sure you have that tolerance, right? And sometimes those half makes are better than the half misses, so to speak, or that's a bad analogy, but worse than just obviously missing the shot outright, as we see those redstones get loaded into the middle. Looks like Koana and Aoki going after that yellow stone there on the outturn side, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if she can get some action on it.
A little discussion here, knowing that Justin Cherpin could go after it. They could sort of chisel off their own yellow and get in there, but yeah, it is coming on the outturn side. You just see how she has the handle started on the in-turn and switches it to the out.
Everybody has their own little delivery routine.
This is running on them.
Looks like this speed might be picking up. It was a little bit stiff in the morning. We'll see how that happens as the day goes on. So you see right now is Koana and Aoki sitting 2. Cherpin looking at that little slash there, Marty.
Yeah, not a lot of good angles here. Although that it does look like you could get a nice spill, at least free up that 4-foot, right? If you manage to just skinny that one that they're looking at hitting that redstone there on the edge of the 4, just opening up that draw path on either side. You know, if you manage to clear it, you're probably not going to get that one at the very back of the 4-foot, or sorry, the back of the button. But at least it would give you an opportunity to try to access the pin on the next draw here.
So these curlers, yep, these curlers from Saskatoon send it on their way. Not a lick. Going to catch it really thick, and they're going to get the back one. So, what was that about not being able to get that one on the pin?
Well, it's funny, you know, it's kind of saying that's a really good outcome, but it's kind of not the ideal one because you can kind of see now, you know, this Japanese team can protect that red stone, right? They're going to come right into it. They're maybe even going to bump it up a little bit, and suddenly you only have that draw on that outturn side. So I think they would have wanted to maybe try to get at least spill that top one and then get some movement on the one at the back, just so that the draw would be available on both sides. Because, you know, right now this Japanese team, if they make this really good, they can even cross over a bit. They can make that draw really hard. You know, there's options for them to really protect both sides of the sheet here and really put some pressure on the Saskatoon team.
They do come in as one of the top ranked teams in the world. Number 4 going into this tournament.
Yeah, Koana's draw weight is usually just about perfect. Real strength for this team.
This one, just as we said, that is running.
Curse the commentator. Again, you talk about tolerance, right? That's just not quite the way. If you ended up light and you ended up actually guarding that one, it's pretty good because you have this Saskatchewan team coming in on the other side. But now there's a chance to access both reds. It looks like that one is the more ideal scenario, just to try to nuzzle that red one out that's just behind the tee line. Mostly because it just gives this Japanese team a little less to shoot at. I think if you end up trying to get a little greedy and try to shovel off that red above the tee, you know, you might end up with an awkward angle that they could attack. But at least in this situation, you could get something right on the pin, make it hard to remove going into the final 2 stones at the end.
So here's the last from Kyle. Just a heavy clean thus far. Needs to take that curl.
Sweeping a bit for distance here.
Just a couple little licks to try to walk it in. That had to come up a little bit more.
It's serviceable for sure.
It does appear to be shot stone.
Yeah, there's a couple options here, though. Just with seeing how much it's curling, Dave, you've seen more games here. Should be able to get to the inside yellow, but obviously they'd be able to come off their red too if they wanted to be really greedy like that. But should have enough curl to get to the inside pretty comfortably, right?
Oh, yeah, both shots are definitely available.
Because even you get really, really thin. Yeah, right there, basically where the broom is there, you could shovel them off and maybe even be sitting 2. Yeah, no need to be greedy on the hit off your own red, I think, for this early on, but this team certainly capable of it. Go certainly is. Or maybe that's what they're doing. Regardless, it's crucial, especially going to the final two stones, final stone for your team, rather, just having options, right? Having shots at either side make the biggest difference, right? They're having the discussion, but they're really spoiled for choice, and it really comes down to what the thrower thinks he can make.
So here's the last from Aoki. He takes over the sweep.
Yeah, just dropping back to call line here. Line's got to be super precise.
This has the weight's going to chisel off of their own and roll right on the lid, and they lie too.
That is such a well-managed shot. Really good call there. Good communication. Tori able to drop off and call line. In that case, both players, both the thrower and the sweeper in that case, have that input on weight. And then it's key for her just to kind of drop back and get that line just right, because they both acknowledged that it had, it was maybe back 4 or something like that. And just to get that little chisel off, that little carve at the end, oh, that was so well managed. Really puts Justin Cherpin in a difficult position, because, yeah, they throw this way, you could jam really easily.
Some bad stuff could happen.
Yeah, if you hit that Yellowstone that they're kind of looking at, if you get a thick part of it, it could just jam off the back. You could give up 2, maybe 3. It's hard to say.
Well, this is where you look really close at it, and if you're second, you might just punt here.
Yeah, most certainly. Just not worth the risk. There's so few opportunities here to actually get something that you would like as an outcome from the end. So, they're kind of seeing just putting the broom down there in the middle of the 8. They might be punting.
And we'll see if it is 1 or 2. They might be laying a stick on this one.
So it's a good chance too in doubles, if you do get the chance, just throwing a rock away, for example, on your final stone, just get a read of the ice, especially out wide. You end up seeing the same pass a lot. But if this is a control weight hit out to the wings, just for an example, on your last stone, it's a good chance to sort of see what the ice does.
Final stone of the first. They are making a play into the house.
Try to just slash that yellow one in.
Oh,
Can't
this
hit it too
is
thick.
Dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. Did they give up an extra point? I think they may have. It's 1 red for sure. Close for a second. And it is just 1 red. So they cut it down to a steal of 1. We'll be back from Martensville after this on Curling Stadium.
Hey, Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from Nisku this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatchewan in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbeck coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock!
Welcome back to Martensville. It's a stolen point for Koana and Aoki in the first end. Justin Cherpin had the hammer here playing in end number 2. Dave Schmel, Marty Thompson, Connor Sims in the background on the knobs and levers and sliders, doing all the stuff that he does. And that was an end where Justin Cherpin just the whole time were chasing.
Yeah, certainly This Japanese team gave themselves the opportunity to make that really nice sort of tick down on the draw. And we were just talking in the break that, they must have been sitting 2 in the 4-foot. So yeah, really, really well executed end. This draw went a little deeper than they would have anticipated. Good chance to get right on the pin here too, and good chance for Sherry and Kyle just to get another read of the ice here, get the weight down. You're mentioning the conditions seem a little bit different from before. Obviously, it's hard to tell on broadcast. We see a little pushback there, but always worthwhile, especially in these early ends. It is doubles. There's the precision's not necessarily the name of the game. So if you can get a feel for the ice early on for draw weight, it's always helpful.
Yeah, we saw a little bit extra curl in the first draw today than we did earlier, and talking to the club manager and chief ice maker James Gordon, he said it was just a little bit colder outside in Martensville, and that just a bit of a temperature change affected the swing. But the ice has been performing beautifully. We haven't seen anything weird or wonky at all thus far this weekend.
Yeah, and it is midday in Martensville right now, so be a little bit warmer than it was in the morning draw. Oh, this is hanging. Might come back a little bit.
Needs to put its blinker on. Out of blinker fluid.
Yeah, just not quite the miss you wanted. If you got to the inside, there's so easily they could have been sitting on either side of the button, right along the center line. It's not bad that they sort of squished that first draw of theirs right, so it's to the back of the 4-foot rock there, the placed rock. Hard to remove for sure. Of course, if you don't have the hammer, you're really focused on keeping that scoring area small. So it certainly is quite small here for Justin Cherpin as they try to attack that red stone that was just thrown.
Now we're getting enough swing still. I think he could come at this from the other side and freeze the other corner. Maybe have a little bit more tolerance for error too, because you could get down into your own.
Tricky path.
This one is hot.
Yeah, both teams are really fooled by that.
So what do you think about that outcome there, unlocking the back a little bit?
I don't think it's worth what the other outcomes were. So for example, now, we're just talking about both teams end up kind of sailing their draw down here. This Japanese team just wants to come right to that red rock. Well, if they do end up sailing again, and it does end up hanging, if they end up just ticking off that Yellowstone that's on the edge of the 4, suddenly they're in a line and they're hard to remove. So I guess it's good that you unlocked it, but at the same time, it allows your opponent allows them to really line them up in the 4-foot. And if they make this really good, and again, there's tolerance for it, you're in trouble. See, it is running for them.
There is another one, and it seems it's really keening up, and both teams are burning up this same track.
Just a little tick off the yellow is totally fine. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to chisel on in, and that is a very nice outcome for them.
See what I meant with that, though, with that tolerance, right? It ran. It was a little quick. It was a little straight. But again, you never want to give, especially if both teams are being fooled with a certain path and forced down a certain path. You never want to give them the chance to almost throw that same error that they threw, right? Because then the thrower can just sit there and say, great, just a little adjustment and we'll still get the same outcome, right?
Absolutely.
The only issue with this is this yellow is going to be exposed if they make this.
And really, both of their yellows are going to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
So we just said, what's wrong with that shot? What's the better one?
I know. I guess you could end up.
There's got to be a pony in there someplace.
I like that. I mean, you could, at this point, when that, this team that you're playing, they're number 4 in the world, they're going to be making a lot of shots. Sometimes that means, from your perspective, just trying to keep it open a little bit. Just try to find your groove. I wouldn't mind running that red in there just for the sake of if, there's a couple ways you could miss it, right? And at least it could be exposed. Make them throw something they haven't thrown. Because again, if you do this and it is really, really good, I still think it's exposed, and you still give them a chance to lodge another red one in there.
On the way from Cherpin, this is really thick on their own, and it does not get the action it required.
Because even then, you dead nose it, or you come in. Yeah, there's again, and same thing with tolerance, right? If they attack this Yellowstone that they're looking at, if they overcook it and they dead nose it, it's still a really good outcome because there's still 3 red rocks in the 4-foot above the tee line. They might end up killing that one at the back, but again, that little flop in, same thing they've been throwing, right? They've been throwing the same shot this whole end to the same tolerance. And yeah, now at this point, the other issue too is you're not really giving yourself anything else, right? It's kind of a make or break shot, because if you did try to run it or something and you did miss, you might have something at the end of this. But if they make this really nice, there might not even be a hit angle for them. You know what I mean? There might not be even anything you could start to move the reds with.
Absolutely. So after we get Sean Joyce's telestrator, the next piece of equipment we're going to get is the Marty Thompson tolerance ticker.
I know I use that word too much. All right. I know I'm using it too much, but this end has been pretty indicative.
No, it is about tolerance or margin.
Yeah, margin's a better use. Yeah, I should just be using a different word. But like, to summarize it, your opponents, in this case for Justin Cherpin, they've thrown the same shot every single time, and every single time there's been the same margin for error. So just exactly where you want to be as a doubles thrower, just knowing, hey, you know what, if I just keep kind of throwing the same thing, it's probably going to work out. You want to give them something else.
So on the way from Koana, you're going to make that hit, get just a little flop inside, and set up all those angles beautifully. And that was certainly in the tolerance, Marty.
I'm trying to think of what a tolerance ticker would look like. But yeah, but even in that instance, right, you kind of talk and it's like, oh, I guess I could throw it maybe like a smidge harder than I just threw it, a couple more feet, no problem. And that's exactly what they did. It does seem like there's an angle for this team to at least remove some granite.
You can get 3 rocks moving.
Yeah.
You can get the one that you're hitting there right in front of it. You get the one that's on the tee line. And if you're hitting it all dead nose, you should catch the red in the back as well. But will it stuff it? I don't think. I think you can make it. But you're going to be hitting a very small part of the rock. See, now I'm conscious of saying tolerance.
Well, the gift of these angles, though, is that, like, if you make this really, really nice, you'll at least be able to access the button on either side. That Sherry will have a draw at the end at least to get in there if you can clear it out properly, right?
You have to have a way in. You just really can't give up another steal right now.
Yeah, unless they want to be really cute, the Japanese team, and just sort of tick that red in the top 4 and see if you can cover both draw paths. But regardless, this is a crucial shot.
First things first, Kyle Cherpin.
Got to keep it out a bit, I think, here.
Yeah, Sherry's picking it up. This looks like it's over curling on them already, and it's on the guard. Of all the ways to miss, that was probably the worst.
The tolerance ticker is flicking off the board right now. They could be really greedy if they wanted to, and they could just punch that back.
I think that's really the sound play.
They're looking at just trying to, at least from the broom placement, though, they look like they were just trying to draw into that one in the top 4. But if they're even just a little heavier, right? If you throw like a back 4 or something, man, it could be sitting. I guess you could probably be sitting 4 comfortably. You could maybe be sitting 5 if you played it that way. But yeah, this is a really key shot to take just about everything away for Sherry.
So
Because
with him,
if you do tap it back and you're on the side of the rock that they're attacking it from, on this outturn side, you could even take the draw to the button away.
embarrassment of riches here.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're maybe talking about trying to tap that back, just because, it does seem you're a little greedy, but you have to just start thinking, okay, how could we really mess ourselves up? I don't know that you really could, because if you throw it really heavy and you end up kind of ticking it over, it's still, you're still going to have all these rocks in the front. So I think that's just based off this line with go sliding out. I think that's the call.
So their final stone of the second.
It's out there though. Gotta bring it back. Oh no.
Oh, it's going to come back. That's not a problem.
It's just a lot of weight.
Still moving 3 stones though, so
Little tick.
boink,
There it is.
boink, boink, and you lie 3 for sure.
Yeah, it's not bad. Really no good angles here too to remove any of these stones. You just end up, just the risk of you jamming on those yellows is so high. I think even attacking that one that's to the red, I think even attacking that one, the risk of the jam is still on. Oy. What angles do you like here?
I like renting a helicopter and placing one on the button. That's my best solution right now. I'm trying to see if the angle works if you catch a quarter of the one there on the top 4, right by Sherry. Do you go into the top one, into the back one, and then into the next back one? But I'm still pretty sure you might cut it all the way down to 1 if you do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably the best outcome.
Because the one that she's standing at will hit the one that's at the top of the button on the center line. Carry him, if it carries enough action, into that one on the T line, which in turn, hopefully will go onto the one on the back of the button.
Does it also touch the yellow that would be 4th shot stone?
You hope it catches it enough, and you don't move the other one, because that's the one that's probably going to end up being second shot. And the green grass grows all around and around.
Yeah, really, really good shot making from Koana and Aoki. Just, you think even the misses in this game from Justin Cherpin have been so slight. You think of the draws that they've made similar draw misses in terms of just being a little heavy from the Japanese team, but they sure are making them pay with this final stone.
So Sherry just facing 3. Final stone of the second end. Needs a miracle here. Kyle picks it up. Holding it out there. Get the action on the outside. 1, 2, 3. They go exactly the way you drew it up, and he cut it all the way down to 1. Clutch shot to stay in the game. They trail by 2. We'll be back from Martensville after this.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting 10-fold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by Pebbleheads.com, the apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of curling.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
And welcome back. And that was an exciting end of the second end. Marty, take us through this great shot.
Yeah, that was just the kind of angle that we were looking at too, Dave, right? And was it going to work? Was it not? A really good throw. I thought right here, just being able to push that rock out right away, maybe a bit, both players probably saw that it needed to go out a little bit. Really well managed to get that angle just right. You were right. Just that perfect amount of that red stone. Yeah, that you mentioned it there too in your call, just a game saver, and it absolutely is. Like if you end up giving 2 or 3 here, the beauty of doubles is, it's really easy to play defensively, right? If you start thinking about throwing up guards, or you're thinking of throwing rocks lighter as opposed to throwing them too far, especially against a team like this, you don't want to let them take that early lead. That was just so clutch. What a shot there from Sherry.
Absolutely. And that has to flip the mindset, Marty.
Doubles is interesting, right? Where it's a very fluid game, and you're constantly moving. With fours, there's a lot of stationary, right? There's even a little bit more talking, right? In this, you play doubles too, Dave. You know this, like the momentum you can really start to feel it and really start to see it shift. Now, that draw was a little heavy, so maybe the heart's still pounding a bit from keeping this game going. But
no doubt at all.
But it's just about trying to readjust, try to find your bearings, and knowing that you just made a great shot against a great team. But they're obviously going to throw that perfect top 4 draw on you, so they're not going to make it easy at all.
Yeah, that has to make it has to feel like scoring 5.
Yeah, it certainly does. It certainly does. But it's about feeling like, okay, you get your feet in. We're and you start talking about how you've been playing too, right? I think for these two, they really have been playing that bad. It's just, that this Japanese team has pulled out a couple really, really, really nice shots. So just focus on that. We've been playing good. Just focus on it. Comes down to the draw weight here too. This top 4 rock is so tricky in doubles, just making sure you can either get right to it or get right underneath it. Keep in mind, they still have the hammer.
Right, and the same thing for Koana and Aoki. They have to feel tremendous about the way they're playing, and they have the experience, they've been through this, but just don't let that deflate you either, because you almost feel insane. What do I got to do?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, doubles can feel like that too, for sure.
Now this is interesting because we have a wall of rocks behind the tee line here, so lots of catchers here.
It's hard to tell if this was exactly intentional here from this Saskatchewan team, just trying to maybe punch out, just knowing how much the rocks curl, just trying to punch out, the red rocks so they're in one half and then potentially leave yourself a hit. Because even, we saw that perfect top 4 draw. Some places, top 4 is impossible to get to, but certainly not in Martensville. So really no rocks are safe. I think they're thinking about pushing that out just with the idea of potentially activating those yellow stones. And certainly giving this Japanese team a thought, do we start to get rid of these, or do you just try to make the same top 4 draw again? I like the draw only because they can only do that so many times, and especially if you put that rock back exactly where it was, or even a little bit deeper, with where that red stone is that they tapped up, it's going to be harder to remove.
I like the draw all day here. I mean, alternatively, you could kill all 3 yellows right now with 1. I think right in the crotch there, you get them all.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Tough for those rocks to score if they're in the barn.
Yeah, you just see how active these rocks are as well. I think they're seeing that 2-for-1 where I think Go was pointing, if you ever make this hit, boing, boing, and then you could bounce back up and end up back out towards the pin. It's tough to say. That's got to be pretty precise to get it there, but good discussion from this team. 2025 Asian Winter Games gold medalists. As we mentioned, they'll be representing Japan at the 2025 Olympic qualification event in Kelowna here in a couple weeks. one of the top-ranked teams there, will be expected to proceed towards the Olympic Games. We've seen this team come to North America and just, pick up the odd spiel and just totally dominate. Winners here last year. I think they only won one round, or they only lost one round-robin game. That's Martin Laycock, if I'm not mistaken.
They're still not sold on what they want here.
This is certainly not on time clocks here, as you can tell. Yeah, I guess I think it's more just discussing what you're comfortable with. She has been throwing the draw, but I imagine they're going to try the hit here. Yes, they are.
She fires away with authority.
Getting it inside out too.
Gets just the 2. It did come back up a little bit.
Perhaps the discussion too is like, is it worth really killing that yellow? If it's a little bit more has to do with scoreboard management, I would totally get it. But we're pretty early on in the game, and perhaps, the Koana Aoki team smells blood a little bit, right? Like, we could be a little bit aggressive, just knowing how well we've been playing. We don't necessarily need to be this pragmatic early on, but again, doesn't hurt to be a little defensive. If just Cherpin can make that little tick, that little draw, then, we can come back in again. You're going to need to see some really heroic shots here from the Saskatchewan team in order to really activate that Yellowstone at the back. So maybe just let your opponents throw some excellent stuff and see what happens, right?
Absolutely. I was waiting for activate. That's the first one of them. That's my other favorite Martyism.
I know. I used one of these games. I used the term smudge as like when you're in doubles and it's kind of like maybe a back 4 or a back 8, and you just to change the angles around a little bit. I can't remember who I was calling the game with, but they said they actually liked that one. So very rarely do people actually like mine, Dave. So that's good.
Well, I go with jostle, or if you got to move the broom a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a skosh.
Skosh is good. Yeah. This looks tight.
They are on it hard. Going to be really friendly to the guard, and no room for the Holy Spirit there.
Yeah, just seeing that Kyle has that little crossover in his delivery, right? His body is sliding a little bit farther wide than the rock. It's probably a way that he's been throwing for quite a while, but I could see it, especially on ice this curly, it'd be hard to really dial in, right? It's like, it's one thing that you just throw that way and this is how I throw and it's all good, but like sometimes just how your body is approaching the target can be, you're going to encounter ice sometimes that's just like not friendly to it. Yeah, this is certainly not the miss you want. Again, red sitting 3 and a chance to take away both sides here pretty easily, I think.
So Koana and Aoki keep on with the pressure. Tori's last to the end. Go picks this one up pretty quick. Now just that heavy power clean. Let it grab the curl.
Yeah.
Now ride it home. Past the guard, no problem. That's the line that you want it.
Look at that lateral movement there. That's really nice.
I think you got a draw and only draw right now.
Yeah. It's a good tolerance miss. I'd imagine. Sorry, I say tolerance again.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. I'll start my own ticker.
I'd imagine Tori, after throwing that big weight, was like, okay, let's just try to like dial it back a little bit, knowing that if you threw it through a guard like this, let's invite this team to throw a perfect draw because we know how much it's going to curl. We can even punch it out. So that was just a good result because it gets rid of this little hit and roll, right? It protects that red rock. That's first shot stone.
I'm going to start the ticker at 16.
No, I'll call my own foul. Make it 25.
Okay.
This is really going to come over. Looks like it's heavy though, eh?
It's going to grind here at the end. It's going to be just back button. I think it's going to hold on for shot. Oh, no, it slides just by. And that's a rough miss there. Because you can just take the end away now.
Yeah, we'll have to see where this red rock ends up, but I don't think Sherry's going to have the kind of shot she did in the second end where the angles line up just right. Yeah, they put this in the right spot. Even if you're heavy and you follow that same path and you punch it back, you're still forcing the other last rock thrower to hit the pin for, against 3. So yeah, really nice chance to again steal.
So here's Aoki.
Keep in mind there, Tori's is really the first time we've seen a team actually be light on a draw.
This one appears to have the desired weight. You can come down to the backing. Doesn't really hurt you to do it. This is a little bit heavy too, so they're going to have a shot for one. Don't see any way to make more than that.
Yeah, let's make sure to get the line right. And as I just mentioned there, like, even that last shot from go was a little heavy. So certainly a storyline of this game is teams overthrowing their draws a little bit. And in this case, just seeing that view from the hack there, the left pane, we know how weight sensitive this ice has been. So you just got to really make sure you dial it in, leave it to your sweepers, or sweeper in this instance.
Yeah, because you need to make sure you get to the inside. You can be heavy if you're on the inside, but not on the outside.
The outside, it depends on what kind of weight, but you could end up giving them 3 points. So really clutch shot again here from Sherry.
Final stone of end number 3. Facing 2. Needs the pin. Kyle Cherpin just escorting it down. It's taken the line. The curl looks good. The line looks good. Got to get past the top one. Did you let it hang too long? Oh my goodness, you did. And it's a steal of 2. And after 3, it's a 4-0 lead for Koana and Aoki. We'll be back from Martensville after this on Curling Stadium.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again? Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting tenfold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by Pebbleheads.com, the apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of curling.
And welcome back to Martensville. It's the Aly Jenkins Mixed Double Memorial Classic here on Curling Stadium from the Martensville Curling Club in Saskatchewan. It was a tough steal of 2 given up by Justin Cherpin. And Marty, here it is.
Just watching the management of the stone here, you just see it started to come there. So just waited a little bit too long. I think for this team right now, like just finding that draw weight in terms of what Sherry's been throwing, you haven't, it hasn't quite been right. Like she's been throwing it a little heavy. So I'm wondering if there was maybe just a bit of a miscommunication there in trying to determine, the weight. Cause yeah, just waited a little bit too long. Cause you saw that light sort of sweeping. I think if he puts a couple strokes on it, honestly, or if he starts like a second earlier, I think you're in good shape. Of course, there was backing, but yeah, it's tough, right? It's one of those things where you've been up against it. You haven't maybe seen the right stones from your opponent, and they just haven't had the draw weight yet. So just a difficult miss for this team.
And you see they're electing to take their power play at this time, so the changes to that. Why don't you take us through what makes a power play a little bit different, Marty?
Well, you're moving those play stones out to the wings. So you have this Japanese team who the red stone was exactly where that yellow one was. They did a good job of putting that guard back up. But you're allowed to sort of tick your guard off of that place. So they ticked the guard, so it's now in the back of the house, and the stone that they threw is out to the wing. So Justin Cherpin looking to try to score and try to really use this yellow, right? Just to keep it just a little bit straight. You know, you just know how powerful of a sweeper he is. That was just a really well-managed stone from that team. There's still there's still a bit of a hiding place here for Justin Cherpin. I'd like for them to try to come around that yellow. Yeah, they're going to come inside out, come around the yellow and try to be shot stone touching the 8-foot rings. And at least if you're high enough, you know, if Koana and Aoki go after it, they're just going to punch it back into their own reds. Ooh, this took off though.
It's okay to come down to it. You just have to clear this guard. All right, you're past it now. Needs to go for the weight. And it's going to be second shot, but in a good position.
Yeah, it's not bad.
So do you chase it or do you ignore it? Or do you peel the guard?
Yeah, 2 shots left for both teams. They're looking at that peel or the run. I think just with how their draw weight's going, I think if you came underneath it, you know, if you just tried to draw like there, you know, it's not a bad outcome because it's going to be hard for Justin Cherpin to get rid of both first and second stones if you made that draw perfectly, and then they're really just focusing on freezing to 1, right? That said, it does look like you can get it inside out on the other side if you wanted to punch that yellow out. I'd imagine that's what they just agreed upon, because just with how they sort of swung the brooms around, just kind of just punch that yellow stone all the way through the rings.
Now this is going to be going through undiscovered country.
That's the thing. Yeah, and again, it's like you're forcing a team to suddenly throw, you know, hack or back line or something way out past, you know, right into the 12-foot. And of course, the later, you know, depending on your ice conditions, the later you get on in the game, you know, it might be a little frosty, right? I think the conditions here are pretty consistent, and this team's pretty good. Just got to manage past that guard, and then I think you'll be all set.
So got to get around this wide guard. Get around it. No, you're going to tick it. And does it spill into the rings? No, it doesn't, but there we go. We were talking about that undiscovered country.
Yeah, just having to hit a path that curled a lot more than they anticipated. Now a bit of go time here from Justin Cherpin. If they could just hit that one and stick, and then force the Japanese team to try to play something. The key with this yellow actually sort of coming in towards the middle is that, you know, it depends how greedy the Japanese team wants to be. If they ever hit and rolled or something, or they managed to get a rock into the 4-foot, you know, that yellow could be run in. So just something to keep in mind. I would be thinking, I think you have to hit this red one, but then hope that there's something maybe for 2 or potentially 3. Most likely 2 at the end. I think they're just trying to think.
Too.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I think they're just trying to see how aggressive they can be. Is there anything else to be more aggressive and score more than 2? But I really don't think there is. Do you see anything?
I mean, other than drawing top 4 and hoping that you can kill the other one later.
Yeah. Yeah, that's... But then there's a chance if you put it top 4, they just... they hit that yellow, but then
they hit the open one, and it's 2 anyway.
I think the greediest thing you could do is try to, like, yeah, maybe not. Yeah, I don't know if there's, you could try to, like, hit off that yellow. And this is a harebrained idea, but just trying to, like, I just don't think there's anything else, but you could try to almost, like, do a little ricochet where you hit off that yellow and have both your shooter and that yellow roll in, but that doesn't really get you anything. So I think you just have to hit this one. They gave center lines. They're not going to throw a ton away just to make sure they can manage it and then force the Japanese team to try to do some sort of cross-house double. And if they don't, they score 2.
I think even though you want to do better than 2 with your power play, just got to get a deuce on the board for sure.
Yeah, it's a shame they just got a really juicy miss, and they kind of they got all excited, went to the house, and they looked around, and it's like, oh crap, we don't really have anything to really take advantage of it. Again, not a lot of weight, just making sure they can just sort of bump it, if anything.
This is over curling an awful lot.
You got to be...
And your
shot
third shot.
All right, well, they might have gotten a lifeline because you just saw Aoki just say, let's just draw right to the top 4. But the problem with that is you might end up giving just Cherpin a shot for something. You like a run double or something right off of the guard. It's obviously super high risk, but I think if you're Justin Cherpin, right, you want to be a little aggressive. You want to try to score.
I think I'm still in the bucket of kill a Yellowstone, lie to.
Yeah, I don't think you need to be too greedy right now. Play the scoreboard, right? If you, something to think about too with the power play, right? You know, you keep someone to a score of 2. You know, that's obviously, you know, not ideal for the team with the power play. And just keep in mind that, you know, this Japanese team has a power play to go as well, right? So if they score 3, you know, then all of a sudden, you know, they already have a 1-point advantage over the sort of power play versus power play. So just be conservative. Just know that you still have that advantage to play in the game. And, yeah, let them have their 2. I do like a team that, you know, is exceptionally greedy when they're playing well. You know, I think that's where, you know, the teams in mixed doubles can be really successful. But I think just with the scoreboard, I just don't think it's the time.
All right. On the straight hit, you got it. Roll in. Did you get second shot out of that? Well, it's really close.
Might not have.
I think you did.
Wow.
Which makes that even that much better.
Let's take one more look. Yeah, this is pretty crucial. I think taking 1 is pretty close to game over. Just playing the numbers, but I think they're willing to risk it here with the measure.
Yeah, I mean, that double is, well, pretty ambitious.
It certainly is. It certainly is. Yeah, I think you just have to risk it.
That'd be a bold call, Cotton.
Yeah, you take the measure going to the 4th end break here and have a quick chat, reassess, right?
Yep. Tori's already hitting the snacks. Final stone of the 4th end. Gotta kill this one in the back. Hang on and hope the measure goes your way. Already on it, hard for line.
She tried to set it out towards the center, but it just
curling really, really hard. Oh no, now you're gonna have to chap off your own and in to make sure you get 1. And you do that, so it's gonna be 1 for Justin Cherpin. Koana and Aoki will have the hammer in 5 when we come back to Martensville after this on Curling Stadium.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
Welcome to the RockShop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at the RockShop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. The RockShop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
Welcome back. Fifth end action from the Martensville Curling Club. Justin Cherpin were held to a single point on their power play. Koana and Aoki have their hammer here in the fifth. And Marty, that just never really got anything going there.
Yeah, it was a difficult one, and we were talking about going into a power play. The big advantage is forcing the other team to play new paths. Well, you also have to play that new path, and you just saw Sherry got a little narrow on it, tried to set it back out, and it was all over the yellow. So yeah, difficult end for sure, but I like this little bounce back on this draw, sitting right on the pin, right in the top. Good spot. Might force a miss here. Oh, just got by the card.
They did just get by it, push it back, get another fine shot. So let's take this opportunity to take a look around the rings if we can. Over on sheet one, we have Gill and Hewitt holding a 6-2 lead over Kim and Jung. You see that game now playing end number 5.
Gill and Hewitt, another team going to the Olympic last chance qualifier here coming up.
Yep, they are the number 1 ranked team in the world. Over there on sheet 2, Ingram and Tenuic are 4-2 over Paray and Rios. And of course, we have our featured game. And over in the corner on sheet 4, we have the Lamactagnes. I butchered that. I apologize to them. And versus the Langs. That one's easier. And the Langs have a 5-4 lead, playing the fifth end as well.
Look at that house. The shape is crazy. That looks like a really exciting end there.
And if you want to tune into that, you can take a look at that feed as well. We have every draw streaming here on Curling Zone. And also, for those who may have just tuned in, we do have Japanese language commentary available on its own separate stream. Ono-san has the call on Curling Zone as well, but a bit of an end developing here as we bounce around the barn.
Yeah, I think just on that draw, Justin Cherpin looking to get right corner frozen to the red and be a little bit more exposed, but instead we're getting this classic mixed doubles lineup here. Always tricky against, I know from this Koana Aoki team, once you start getting this lineup and the angles are just right, a team like this is not afraid to just run that guard back and free up some stones. So you have to just keep in mind, how these rocks are eventually shaped up, what kind of shape you give the other team. That sort of run back is always in play. We haven't seen it yet, but this team, just knowing how aggressive they play, certainly something to keep in mind. Speak of the devil.
So here comes Tori. Bringing the heat, and it's just going to be a street peel.
I think they're trying to run it just like that. Yep, perfect. So it just shows again, like that precision is there. And the key with that shot too, right, is, you make it great. Oh, that's really good outcome. And now that red rock is sitting there. You're running your own in. And if you're in that position from Justin Cherpin's perspective, there's just so fewer places to hide, right? You could put a yellow rock in there, and again, unless you're absolutely perfect corner frozen, you know, and unless it's completely immovable or corner frozen or right to the nose, you know, suddenly this team just proved they could do it, and now they're going to be running their own rock in.
So the corner freeze the call again, Marty?
Yeah, I think so. I think they'd like to try to get right to, like, try to get to the nose, try to make the Yellowstone that they're just throwing immovable. You'd almost want to line it up in such a way where if they did try to make the same shot, they run red, they run that red in the top 4 into yellow and potentially jam at the back. So the thing with the corner freeze too is if they do make that same shot and they rip it out, or of course the alternative here is the guard, which I'm not sure if that was the call, but it's a good miss, forcing this team to double peel probably, or that. Yeah, I do really like the angle of that guard. It makes it a little tricky.
I think Tori's going to try to get the peel here.
You could make it so the yellow goes over the top of the red and you set the red end anyways.
That would be really nifty.
Yeah, I'd imagine that's kind of the ultimate goal here from this one. Obviously, if you just double peel, it's not a bad result. Just where that top redstone is, I think they're pretty keen on putting that into, bumping that into that yellow eventually, just because if you do, you know, if you hit that dead jam straight run, then you have a red rock at the very top 4 and one on the pin.
Can go hold it there, hit the one, run it back. No, it's going to stick and stuff. So now a bit of an opportunity for Justin Cherpin. They can throw one right there in the way.
Yeah, be a little pragmatic here. Just protect that one.
And try to work hard and go for the steal and see if you can't get Mr. Momentum to change his address.
Yeah, change it back to Saskatchewan. Yeah, just like, yeah. I kind of like trying to get underneath just for the sake of it. Because if you end up running a little bit longer than you anticipate and you end up corner frozen on the red, it might not be the worst outcome. But if you end up trying to, if you're a little light here, for example, and you're not in the absolute perfect place, you know, they could double peel. Protecting is certainly the right call. It just comes down to where exactly you want the rock based on the other team's current performance, right?
No, I completely agree. And I just saw the way they were crouching down and looking at the lineup there. Don't think they would ever contemplate a run here, but
no.
Based on the turn, I think they might be. No, they're not. Good.
Coming on this side too.
Yeah, Kyle just gave the international whoa signal.
Yeah, this could be pretty good too.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that works.
As the pros would say, I don't hate it.
I think that's the international mixed doubles shot calling sign for the most part. Yeah, I guess you just try to rip these out.
I once called a shot instead of hearing I don't hate it. My third replied, I like practically anything other than that. Including hogging the stone.
You know what? Appreciate the honesty.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah.
I called the shot anyway.
Yeah, I think that I don't hate it, and then I've always liked to never not. You know, if you're sweeping, just say never not sweeping. That's always my favorite.
Oh yeah.
So it looks like they're going to try to come around it, eh? And
Yeah,
bump up the red.
come around just a little tippity tap. The line is certainly available for it.
It's a really smart call. Don't get distracted by these yellows up here. Just play something you know you can play.
This one's curling hard. It's going to be tight to the guard. Is it going to over curl by the time it gets to the red?
So good.
They hold it right there, and it is shot stone. That's
amazing. Yeah. Really good shot calling. I think they just, they had to look at the yellows, and it's like, why bother with this? Why put it? Why mess with this? Because now, yeah, I mean, Justin Cherpin likely just going to have to protect against this or something big, because there's no good angles here.
Yeah, because with their last stone,
I mean, if you
get very lonely in there.
If you can ever force them, that's great. Yeah, I think they're just gonna have to throw something up. I think if you do put a guard in a good place, like a 3 guard or a 2 guard on the, on the in-turn side, I think it's a pretty good outcome, right? Because they won't have a whole lot. Like, Go won't have anything too appetizing to throw. Yeah, Sherry's certainly been put under pressure here, but I've seen some really good shots from her today.
So Sherry just with her last here in the 5th. This one just needs to grind in. Kyle likes it.
A little bump would be great. Yeah, that works. Really good spot. So I'd imagine they're seeing this, like running that red guard. Is that what they're seeing? Probably.
Yeah, I mean, if you, I don't see a downside.
Yeah, there really isn't. Thankfully, if there was, I don't think they'd be trying it. Oh, maybe they moved that red rock by accident or something, or oh, I think they did. A little bit harder now, just changing that angle outside a bit, or maybe easier. Yeah, I think you just have to run that one right onto the one on the lid, right? See if you can score 3, I guess, 4 maybe.
Absolutely. So, gonna run this stone in. Oh, probably from someplace in Calgary. Long way to get there. Go Aoki, final stone of end number 5. They sit 1. Looking to run this an absolute mile in.
Need some width here. It's close.
You hit it? Is it? No, it's going to hit the top one first. And it's going to just be a single point for Koana and Aoki. Justin Cherpin have the hammer in 6 when we return to Martensville after this.
Hey, Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from Nisku this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatchewan in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbeck coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock!
All right, everyone. We're back. It was a single point for Koana and Aoki. They hold a 4-stone lead. Justin Cherpin have the hammer here, throwing the yellows. Dave Schmel and Marty Thompson with you. Connor Sims turning and spinning the dials. And all of you here with us on Curling Stadium. If you haven't yet, please give the feed a thumbs up and subscribe to Curling Zone. That lets you interact with us in the chat. We have action for you all weekend long. So get settled in with your favorite beverage and watch some good curling.
Yeah, you just saw Justin Cherpin there make that first draw right and make your first couple shots right, and then after that just really focus on just keeping that stone that you threw in a good place. It's a little narrow on this draw, unfortunately.
It's really been the draw weight that's been the Achilles heel for this team.
Yeah, it certainly
the draws in general, not just the weight, but
yeah, their line has been a little fluctuating, I think, a little bit more than they would want to as well. You just see, obviously wrecking on the guard is not ideal, but we did see Sherry there just be a little narrow on that inside out draw there to try to score 2. So, and that power play end. So yeah, just something to dial in for sure. Just talk about it, right? There's only 2 of you out there. There's not 4. In doubles, you got to be really honest about how you've been throwing the rocks. So just take that time to say, look, I did this, right? Helps you read the ice and helps you sort of fix any issues that have arisen during the game.
And Koana and Aoki still have their power play available to them. But you can only take that when you have the hammer.
Taking this really wide path to beat this guard. Make sure it comes back, and it will.
They got it there. And it gets there.
Such a nice draw, edge.
That is
edge to edge.
Locked on with an acetylene torch.
Keep in mind too, that's a new draw path. That's the ice is certainly consistent here, but just really making sure they had that right. A little bit of a discussion probably online, right? Taking a new spot, and that is just about perfect. Be hard pressed to not have that redstone that Tori just threw end up scoring in this end.
Well, Kyle says, not with that attitude, I'm going to do better now. Looks like they're going to open things up here.
I think if they're going to try to run that yellow.
Mm-hmm.
If you peel it, it's okay.
And getting a bit of the double peel, they will. Move theirs out of the way enough for now. Leaves it there, they can use it later.
I like that kind of you kind of call it like the pseudo corner guard, right? That's about as corner guard as you'd want in doubles, right? Just off the center line. Something potentially to hide underneath if you end up blowing something up in the forefoot. Again, they have the hammer. They'd like to get at least 2 or 3 here. Just to make sure you can continue to keep a foothold in the game.
Once again, both these teams at 1-1. 18 teams are playing in pools. At the conclusion of pool play today, the top 8 will advance. Tiebreakers are draw to the buttons. It's Team Martin and Laycock that appear to have the best last stone draw the last time I was able to check.
And Nancy Martin, just one of the best drawers, one of that really nice, that last rock thrower, right? It's just can't beat it. Speaking of good draws, my God, took it from the other side too.
Yeah, Nancy has
so
several zeros on the LSD board so far. And for those of you who don't know, that means you are on the pin. They are not using the triangulation method here. So if the pin is covered, it's a 0.
exactly what you want from your first and last rock thrower, right? It's make that first draw perfect. And Justin Cherpin, great example in the last end, right? You make that first draw really nice, you're in business.
So now needing to rattle some stones. Just going to get past the guard, rattle them around. You did shift him and shaft him. It got off the center line. That is important. Gives you the ability to score.
But there's that 4-foot corner guard, if you will, right? They just ended up right underneath them. So there's really no removing those unless you wanted to run the yellow. Be curious to see exactly where Koana and Aoki want this rock. I'm assuming they'll try to come right to that red rock that's on the tee line and try to get a good chunk of it. Wouldn't hurt being a little light too if they end up kind of being top 8 or something and forcing Justin Cherpin to come right underneath. Then it's a short run to get rid of it.
Here's the draw from Tori. This one appears to be skating just a touch. But it's going to check up and end up in a perfectly fine spot. And Kyle's going to gallop down the ice to hammer it. And Sherry wants to make sure that's the best idea.
Well, yeah, it's you see, okay, we want to be able to access the button, right? Perfect, let's rip it. But I think what Sherry's seeing is like, what if we play something a little softer, just so that we create a little red wall at the back, and that we don't lose that. If you kill it, if you even if you dead nose it, you get rid of all 3 or whatever, that's fine. But then that yellow rock is exposed. What if you could just push it back in such a way that you could end up maybe having something else after? I'd assume that's what they're looking at. Or what's the best angle too? Could you is there another option just from blasting it essentially?
Yeah, I like that little wave that Sherry gave Kyle, like, get back here, Tiger.
Yeah, I know you've been dying to throw peel, but we could maybe try to score some points here if we play this right.
Whoa there, doggy.
Yeah, I guess there's a way that if they hit that one on the nose in such a way with not a lot of weight, maybe it kind of spills. It kicks that one out on the side of the button, but maybe it kind of spills down to the back of the forefoot, and suddenly, you're forcing the other team to throw something pretty nice to get rid of something.
Yeah, or even just like down weight with the nose, and the stone you come into contact, right, like you said, spills to the back 4. Your shooter stays right there, and then you're gonna open up. Probably the full button area will be open, and there's a good chance that Koana Aoki just guard it.
Yeah, right. But then you still have this yellow run.
Then you have the run.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. There's shots, right?
That's your way in.
Even if you have a red one out to the wings, there's potential. There's a lot of stuff to play with on your last. It's just trying to set it up in such a way. And Sherry too, right? It like a good first and last thrower. It's like, get back here because I want to have something to throw, right? Like we need to think about my shot here too. And what am I comfortable throwing, right? Like all these things are considerations when there's the two of you trying to come up with, the game plan for those last 2 stones at the end.
Well, taking some time because this is definitely important.
I like throwing something that's a little down weight, just making sure you push off, like you push that rock that's on the edge of the button, that you push it out, and then you just have that one at the top of the button go anywhere to the back 4. Right, just make that team throw something, right, and make them throw something. Keeps your chance for 2 alive. Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, if you're playing a team that is just playing so well, sometimes you need to think, okay, how can we force a miss out of them, right? How can we make it difficult for them? It might not make the most sense strategically for us on paper, but it's like, how can we at least force a miss to generate some offense for us?
So Kyle Cherpin throwing this at like control weight.
Yeah, a little bit more weight there.
Tight to the guard, passed it without a problem. They move it around and they make the triple. 1, 2, 3, go away. Triple takeout. Kyle Cherpin.
Really nice shot. It's just a shame that, you know, for this Japanese team, it's a little easy hit and roll to sit in the forefoot and force Sherry to a tough draw for one. But yeah, that was a really nice shot. Really nice sweep there too from Sherry to keep that online.
Yeah, going back to our conversation there, and I don't really see what the downside would have been to being more aggressive there. Because you take the single point here, you're down 5-2. Likely you're going to be playing against the power play next end.
Well, and you made a good point too, right? They've got the power play. They can, you know, they can still force you to likely give up a couple at least. So, yeah, you need to make up that advantage now. But hit or draw to the forefoot and take your one and continue on with this game, I suppose. You're always going to be in a difficult position against a team like this. You know, they're playing so well in the lead up to this Olympic qualifier, and you know, one of the top teams in the world. Sometimes you just got to have a little bit of fun and try stuff like that, right? Just be a little aggressive, but at the same time, we all like throwing a triple takeout. So.
Final stone of the sixth.
It's not heavy.
No, it's not. They are both on it. Now they're a little bit less concerned. Did they overcook it? Nope. Single point is on the board. They trail by 3. We'll be back from Martensville after this.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting tenfold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by Pebbleheads.com, the apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of curling.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
And welcome back. It was a single point for Sherry Justin, Kyle Cherpin. And that means hammer for Koana and Aoki, and they are on the power play.
Yeah, it's you know, from this aspect, from Koana and Aoki, you know, it's always easiest to play the power play. And if you're new to mixed doubles, you play at a club level and you're kind of scared of playing it, play it when you're up in a game. Because it's a lot easier to manage in a more of a defensive situation. And from Justin Cherpin's perspective, they need to throw up that center guard in order to try to generate offense, right? Because they need something to come in behind. They need to focus playing towards the middle. All null and void though when he makes such a nice tick. That was such a great shot there from Tori, again, just clearing up the middle. Yeah, I mean, if from Justin Cherpin, they probably want their next one to be look a little more like a 3 guard, only so that obviously if it's ticked in again, it'll go in towards the rings. Center line or just off center is good. Again, they probably need to steal here to get an opportunity.
And it's so tough to steal against the power play because everything is opened up. So you're just throwing a guard here?
Yeah, you just have to, again, just keep that play focused to the middle. Again, I think a 3 guard, like a guard that's tight to the rings is good. If they try the ticket, rolls into the rings, but also you have a nice short run. You know, if they manage to put a rock, let's say, on the button, you could at least run it back in. Yeah, that's really your only play when you're down like this in a power play situation. Yeah, I think you want it deep. But this must have been intentional from this team to throw them high. It's interesting. I guess you need to, perhaps I'm not saying the rationale is wrong. Perhaps they see this Japanese team as being such good hitters that maybe they want to keep them high, right? So if they, you know, for example, if there ever was a run back or something. But yeah, I don't know. It's you know, my instinct would always just be to go in and just kind of see what happens. But again, when you have a team this talented, perhaps it changes your playbook a little bit. Could make a lot of granite go here.
Yep, going to try to catch it on the way by. They end up killing the corner guard, replacing it with their own. So that's always helpful to have your own stone.
Super good. Great shot.
Yes. So now we're just going to go try to turn it into a force route.
Even moving that with that red hit, even just managing to push it so it's even a little bit better than edge to edge on the red rock in the house. Yeah, good outcome there from this team. And they won this last year. Really hoping to be peaking with this Olympic qualification event in Koana here at the first weekend of December. A long discussion here. I'm assuming they're trying to get the line right for how they're going to draw in behind. Yeah. You're kind of talking about which hack to take or where along the center line. They have been fooled by that throughout this game, so this line looks okay though.
It's going to curl up and finish beautifully. It's a really nicely thrown stone.
Perfect little bump too, just to make sure that it's in position. They should be able to get to the inside of it, but at the very least you hack weight, force them to throw something that's a little precise. Always love the placement of these shots too if you're yellow, because if they ever get a nose, that yellow stone ends up kind of spilling out into the back of the house and into the 8-foot rings, and those shots really come into play in a power play when it comes down to final stone, right? If you're looking to split the rings or what have you.
So, bit of a touch shot, one of the more challenging ones they've been asked to make.
And I think they see too, if you just tick the guard, that's okay. It's if you end up hitting that red, making sure that yellow is exposed is totally fine.
So go calling the line. Tori on the brush.
Well managed.
Past the guard. Takes it, pushes it out. Will it get all the way clear? Not quite.
And that's what I was just saying about that angle where the yellow just kind of spills down to the bottom, because now you're in a position where you set up a really long double, or you can start to make things really difficult for the team that has the hammer. if you make this shot really nice, put it somewhere, you know, and forcing a long crosshouse double or something, or a nice freeze, you know, you're suddenly looking at a force.
You see, Kyle suggested the hit and the roll all the way across the house. That's so tough to control.
I like this corner freeze. I think that's a really good idea.
I think it's the best call on the sheet.
Yeah, because then, you know, you're forcing maybe something precise out of this Japanese team, right? Maybe. And if they do, you know, again, you still really should be stealing. In reality, you know, you probably still need that. So, you know, forcing isn't good enough. I think you need to be in a position where there's a yellow rock that needs to be removed, or a really precise shot from this Japanese team at the very end, you know, to score 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. You know, you gotta start thinking about where can we put these yellow rocks that are tricky when it comes down to crunch time. And I think a freeze does that.
While they discuss that, we have our first final score of the draw. Gill and Hewitt took 4 in the 7th to make a 11-4 victory over Kim and Jung. Over on sheet 2, Bray and Rios have a 4-stone lead, playing end number 7. There you go. You see that? Well, looks like they got single back, so it's 3 stones, but they have hammer now. And
I love that.
Over here, we have the Langs with a 1-stone lead. Wasn't going to try to butcher that surname again.
Yeah, such a strong field here at Martensville. Obviously, a lot of teams in this part of the country getting prepped, but
have 7 of the top 18 teams in the world.
Amazing. Calling it a little heavy, it looks like, for the freeze.
I think it's coming down okay.
Bumping back a little bit's okay, I think.
It's going to have to get there. Oh, no.
Interesting. Okay. Well, not the greatest miss in the world. It's still possible for you to obviously get something underneath that and hope for, you know, if you could manage to get a yellow somewhere in between that line of stones, like a hit and roll or something, or a draw. But yeah, that's not ideal. I think the line was pretty close. Man, it's too bad. Because if you make that freeze perfectly, you know, that yellow stone is so far, I'm going to use the term advanced in the house. It's so high in the house that, you know, you start thinking about, okay, it might, if you make the perfect freeze on it and they start to remove it, it might take a shot or two before you're able to properly get it out the back of the house. But yeah. Depth is pretty crucial to this shot. Trying to get the weight right. Can't leave the double.
All you gotta do is split it.
Yeah, can't leave the double.
Just want to be behind. Anywhere now is fine. Freeze as if your life depended on it, but if not your life, the game does.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, this is certainly going to have to be shot. Just a few shots short in this end from making it really good, considering they don't have the power play here, Justin Cherpin, but yeah. Little precision needed from your last rock thrower, which is expected, but yeah, make or break shot, no doubt.
So talking about the line, talking about the weight, talking about the path, all things you have to calibrate, and there's only 2 people to do it. last stone.
Good discussion considering they're coming across the center line. Sorry to interrupt there, Dave.
Kyle on the brush. The line is looking pretty good. It's all about the weight right now. Do they judge the weight properly? Did they judge it properly? Hang on for shot and lock on. Oh, that is picture perfect.
So good. Gave Kyle everything he needed to make that shot absolutely perfect. You can see just how jammed on it is. Wow, that is not easy to remove at all. What a clutch draw, eh?
Absolutely. They made that look easy peasy, lemon squeezy, and they're just going to draw for it, I think.
Yeah, don't complicate it. Man, what a shot. Yeah, again, it was like one of the, I think Kyle had that mismanaged draw there from Sherry early on, but just liked it right away. You could tell he knew exactly, again, a little down weight, but again, gave it to the sweeper, right? Let him sweep it a little bit, let him put some weight on it. And also a good line call here from Kyle too, just to make sure it was dead on. He saw him looking up towards that red. That is just perfect.
And we always say how tough these calls are to make those dead freezes, and that was a good one there. So here we go. Final stone of the 7th end. Going to try to fire it out of there is Tori Koana. Aoki flying behind it, and bang, they make it go away. That's an explosive way to get a single, but a single point it is. And they hold a 4-stone lead heading to the 8th end. We'll be back from Martensville after this.
Hey, Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting tenfold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by pebbleheads.com, the apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of curling.
Welcome back. It's the 8th end of action here. It's a 4-stone lead for Tori Koana and Go Aoki over Sherry Just and Kyle Cherpin. Thank you so much for joining us here on Curling Stadium. My name is Dave Schmel. I'm joined by Marty Thompson. Connor Sims is in the back spinning the dials. And Sherry and Kyle need to make some magic happen here, Marty.
Yeah, maybe a little discussion. You want to keep playing, and it's like, yeah, I think they do, just based off of, some of their shot making. Again, their game really hasn't been that bad. They've certainly had their misses, but they haven't really gotten a lot of misses from the other team, to be honest. And that last draw was just so precise. So yeah, might as well keep playing, get something out of this ice, right? Obviously, the playoffs are the goal for them too. So, get some experience against a team that's, for all intents and purposes, is one of, if not the best team in the world. So just focus on that and, focus on the draw weight and bring it into the next game.
So you see that first draw from from Sherry wrecked there.
Yeah, not ideal, but maybe play with a little bit of fire. Having an extra guard here anyways might be might be worthwhile. I think, you know, the tactics board for doubles seems to kind of be thrown out the window when you need to score this many. You know, and when you don't have the hammer at the end, just, you know, because there's so many variables that need to kind of go your way, most notably misses from the other team.
Well, it's right there between the sheets. It's the Churchill Brewing Company doubles board. Fine sponsors of the Martensville Curling Club.
Yeah,
and
maybe
this one's on the guard too.
I'll tick there, yeah.
So, okay. Little bit of opportunity. How do you jiggle in there?
Yeah, and I think how do you maintain rock position at this point, right? You've got 4 stones left. You know, you have to think that one at the back is it will eventually leave, but how can you start to think about getting those right in those right spots? You really need perfection from every shot, which is why, again, they're just taking that extra time to talk. I always like this too, right? I think sometimes people don't see the rationale for this if they haven't played doubles, but I think from this perspective, you know, they're walking through every shot. You know, they kind of know what they're doing. They're agreed on it, but you know, the strategy is certainly more of a team aspect. So obviously, it comes down to the shooter being confident in it, which it does appear that Kyle is. But you know, talking about, you know, how you're going to throw it, what you're going to do, you know, what's a second best outcome, you know, that I think is just, that communication part is just so crucial to doubles. You know, you just win more when you do it.
So the next stone on the way from Kyle.
Running
Navigates
wide,
the port nicely. And right there to the top of the button. Don't have to worry about being shot yet. Just need to get yours in there because 4 of them have to score at the end.
Yeah, really nice spot. I like having that separation off that red too, just, you know, kind of understanding what this next team is probably going to do. That's going to be throwing the stone, just trying to throw a bullet. So yeah, no, that's a really good draw. And again, just all about executing every shot and giving yourself the best outcome.
Yep, you have to get them in there, then eventually find a way to, oh, how's the best way to describe it? Bring that back one into play.
Yeah. This is interesting. It's running wide, and I'm assuming they're like, are they ticking that red or something, or what are they doing?
I think they're just looking to draw right on top, and
it was just always a little wide.
Well,
oh wow,
it might have just kissed it there.
Oof.
I think it did just give it a little peck on the cheek.
Just ran wide. It's just that big set, and I really didn't think it was going to come back.
Let's see here. Did it grab it? Coming up to it, and ooh, maybe it just blew in its ear.
I like that one. That's better. In that case, I think that was a bit of precision from this Japanese team to try to play it wide because you wanted to have that rock, you know, exposed as much as possible, right? Because you want to be able to have that run later in which you can kick that yellow stone out that's at the top of the button. I think that was deliberate, but man, were they tempting fate that close to that guard. Like, you can kind of see Go looking up, and then he took the broom off. That's like an awful amount of precision and real trust that it's going to come back and be perfect. Because I'd assume that was their A++ shot, was just to be right where it is there. Wow, that's a really, really nice outcome. Because yeah, again, you can see even from Justin Cherpin's perspective, that red rock is such a problem. I'd want to keep these guards as best you could. I think.
Yeah, it feels too
You know what I
early for that.
mean? Yeah, it's like kind of just I wonder if maybe you
And
need
if
to
you
come
do it,
around.
you just want to do it with a jiggle weight.
Yeah. Yeah, pack a house or something. Yeah, just enough to move it around. Because I think there's a way. I think what they're seeing is there any way for us to actually push that redstone that was just thrown out into the open? Is there a way to move that? Because if you throw this with that jiggle weight or that smudge weight, to use my own word, if you're able to do that right, you could potentially move it all around in such a way that you might have a red hit or a red double even.
Kyle looking for the jostle weight hit here.
I like this call. A little bit more weight than we were expecting, but we'll see.
They stuck the guard right there, and they do jostle it around.
Pretty good. That
And
yellow sticks around.
That could be key.
Wow. And look at where those yellows are. This was, okay, this is a case where us commentators, we think we're right. We're wrong. Because this was like an all or nothing shot, and it makes such total sense of the angles that they played here. Moving these Yellowstones around, not losing that yellow at the back. You now have 2 yellow rocks that are above the tee line. Just on paper, that is a really nice setup for this team. Wow.
And they did leave the thrown rock in a runnable position.
Yeah. That's so good.
You still need to get at least one more in there to be able to get a tie. So Koana looking at this saying, I could just run this straight back, fire a bomb, and kill him.
You could even get that yellow at the back, and then that might be game over.
It doesn't matter, yeah.
Yeah, so man. I think I would be tempted to run that red because the center guard is almost going to be their friend, something to hide behind for the next little bit. And if you peel it out or something, then it's going to be exposed, right?
Yeah, if you fire right down Broadway, it's going to be really tough for them to cover everything.
Yeah, I think that's the play. Makes sense because, again, it's even if you manage to come over the top of the yellow, you could there's a bunch of different ways you can get rid of yellow stones. And even that redstone that's behind the tee line, that's also not helping you. So if you manage to have some weird hero miss where you manage to tick that red one out, that's fine. It's certainly going to help this Justin Cherpin team for now. Do you see anything else here, Dave, that's like would really ensure a good outcome?
I don't. I certainly don't. This game is still making its way along, coming up on the 2-hour mark in just a few minutes.
Yeah, there's been lots to talk about, no doubt. Because, you try to tick and then you could miss that. I'm kind of shocked that they don't like the run down the center, Dave, only because the one time they played it was just automatic. Like, I think they played it again one more time, but they felt like they had the line really good.
Well, it was the first instinct too.
Yeah.
And usually that's the right call. So I always say, if you're deliberating this much, I'd almost go back to what you initially wanted to go.
And doubles is so fluid. You need to sort of have goals in mind when you're making shots, right? Be like, okay, the scoreboard is this, therefore what? What's our outcome in the end? And I think for this team, it's like, you only need to remove, in theory, 1 yellow stone out of this house at some point, right? So if you end up ripping this and you clear it, then that's okay. It's open for you to remove a stone later. So yeah, I'm assuming they're running, but or sort of they had this sort of yellow kind of shot in mind. There's just a way that I think if you hit a thin part of that Yellowstone that's in the top 8, it just goes and jams on that yellow, and then you have 2 stones that are in the 4-foot.
And in the meantime, Perrette and Rios won their game, and the Langs won their game, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up by 150 points.
Good thing I invested. So
It's a little down weight shot here.
Oh man, broom over the shoulders. Not good. Not good body language.
That's generally not good, I'm going to say, buddy. Maybe he just had to stretch.
It just didn't like, I think, what he got out of his hand. Out of her hand, rather.
Well, you know, that's the called shot. They made what they called.
Now, I think red is, that red there that they just tapped is still a third shot. Huh. I wonder if you hit this and roll open like that, and then you force this Japanese team to try to protect against you somehow removing that redstone at the back of the button, right? Like if you make this shot, you know, you're sitting all but first or second shot with that redstone, and then you hope that there's something for you, because you do have that yellow to run in. They'd have to maybe guard against that, right? That's just such an interesting end, because you need to you need to use that yellow stone that you're throwing. This yellow stone needs to be a counter. So yeah, I think that's your shot. Just like a little back house weight. You know it's going to curl a lot inside out. Make sure you tuck it behind that guard.
That click was the activate ticker.
Thank you so much. Yeah, because oh man, they have an avenue here, I think, to getting four.
Well,
it's possible.
I'd say a
street.
a small path. Avenues are pretty wide.
Yeah, maybe a cattle path. Yeah, but still, it's something.
Trying to find the bike lane to victory. Kyle Cherpin with his last of the eighth. Working hard to hold this one. They're going to make the hit. Will it flop at all? No, it stays right there.
Interesting. Well, now if you do this red, and a yellow, like this run.
They sit second, third, and fourth right now.
Or, yeah, you just try to protect against them tying the game, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because right now you don't even have to worry about the backstone if you run the long yellow in.
Yeah, and I don't think they have anything else to score for. Like they could maybe try to hit the one that they just threw, but throw it inside out or something. But where your shooter goes is the question.
I think this goes back to had he just ran that red back a couple stones ago.
Oh yeah, no question. That was an uncharacteristic strategic error from this team, I would say, just because again it still is now such an issue for you.
Yeah, that's what got you here. You wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah, no question, no question.
And they'll watch it back and they'll see that.
Yeah, no doubt. It's doubles is so tough, right? You play a game and then you get off the ice and you're like, why did we do that? You know, you can see it from the best teams in the world, right? It's just, it can be so fluid. It can be so, you know, dependent on what you're feeling. And sometimes that just happens. But thankfully, there's just such good throwers. They can make up for their strategic mistakes.
So here we go. They're just going to cover up the guard here.
Yeah, you want to get it to the corner. Ooh, a bump isn't good.
Bumps and stays open and accessible.
Oy.
Probably good enough. I think you get away with that.
Yeah. That's a good shot. That's a really good shot.
Okay, so I'll tell you what I see and see if you see it.
Go ahead.
You throw the same way that you just did to get to there, even closer to the guard, and use that stone to push out the red in the bag. That's what they're looking at.
Yep. You only need to push that red stone as far as your shooter's going to roll. right?
That's
So,
correct. That
and then, if you end up throwing a bit of weight, right, you really only have to contend with that redstone that's in the top, biting the top 12
yep, that's
fully
all
in
that
the 8 foot.
yeah, that's all that's in the way.
Wow. Yeah, this is
It's makeable.
yeah, I think so. I think so. Just with knowing how much it's going to curl. Yeah, you just
Certainly not an easy shot, but it is at least a paved bike path.
the bike path. Hey, as a cyclist, bike path's a dream. So sometimes it comes down to thinking thinking that way. But yeah, this is certainly makeable. Yeah, really big shot.
So to stay in the game, Sherry Just needs a miracle here. Final stone of the 8th. Going to come across the face of her own, push it onto the one in the back, and hold it all for 4. It's got to curl a little bit more, a little bit more. Oh, it does not come up enough. And it will be a win for Koana and Aoki by a final score of 6-3.
Yeah, just a little up and maybe a little narrow on that one. You could see it kind of riding the center line a bit more than Kyle's. I mean, I think this team certainly was full value for getting a shot at the end, even if it was a hero shot to try to win, because they certainly had their misses, but they contended well against a really top team. And yeah, looking forward to a lot more good doubles action here this weekend. This game was fantastic.
And we'll be right back on the air at 3 o'clock. So make sure you keep it here on Curling Zone. At 3 o'clock, we have Matsumura and Tanita versus Springer and Springer. I'll be joined by Gord Coppathorn at 3 o'clock Central Time. But for right now, for Marty Thompson and Connor Sims, I'm Dave Schmel. Thanks for watching Curling Stadium. Good day.
Live curling rocks. And this November, the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.
Hey guys, what can I get started for you today?
Bananas away, regular?
And I'll have the Rip Berry, but can I get vanilla oat milk? And I'll add spinach and ginger. And can I substitute the raspberries for strawberries? Also add the chia and hemp seed, and definitely have the power booster and the collagen booster. And can I get that blended twice?
Wow.
For Alicia, Custom Chaos? One of a kind.
You're one of a kind.
Booster juice, freshly made your way.